So the next thing that we're going to talk about is how smart this little guy is and how driven he is to work and learn new things. It's really exciting to get a Yorkie who is just so much fun to work with and wants to please. So what that means for us though is that we have to be on our A game when it comes to mentally stimulating this little guy. A lot of the problem behaviors that you're seeing at home are bred out of boredom. So it's like sticking you in a room with nothing else to do but tear up the paper, right? You're gonna tear up the paper. So if we can get his mind busy through training or nose work or trick training, just doing fun things to get his mind activated, then we're going to see a lot of those behaviors start to minimize, which is really important. The other thing too is mental stimulation creates a happy dog, and you'll start to see the reactivity side of things come down a bit, because a lot of the reactivity in the barking is frustration based because he is overexcited and overstimulated. But if his brain has already been worked, then that level is already down here instead of up here. So he doesn't have as much energy to waste on that kind of negative behavior that we don't like. So some of the things that we can do are pretty simple. Things like find it. You can take a treat, and I love to do this in the grass on walks, where I will just take a treat and I'll toss it out and I'll say, find it. Oh, you missed it. Find it. Good job. And I'll let him use his nose to kind of sniff around a little bit and find where that went. Find it. Obviously, it's a little easier here on the porch, but that's okay. Find it. Good boy. Find it. Good boy. You can kind of progress this as well to hiding treats around your house and saying find it, and him using his nose to really find those treats. Another thing that you can do is use your kibble from his meals as training treats. I noticed that he was an incredibly picky eater, but as soon as I started actually training with those pieces of kibble, he started eating it just fine. So one of the things, like with my dogs personally, is that they don't really eat out of bowls anymore. They are pretty strictly using their meals as training treats, either throughout the day or for kind of one big set down session, or I'm putting them in puzzle toys where they have to really work to get the food out. He wasn't a huge fan of the puzzle toys, but he did really love working for his kibble, which was a great way that we could work with that. You saw that we practiced leave it, and we spelled his name out with the kibble. Just silly little things like that will get his mind going and activated, and is really what's going to keep him happy. Yes, I know. You're doing so good. I'm going to miss you so stinking much. I am. But I'm, of course, here. We have 2 in-home sessions that I would love to do. With the pandemic and everything going on, what I would like to do with that is I would like to split those into little 30-minute sessions, since we are so focused on his reactivity issues. That way we can go on a walk, we can both have our masks on, we can stay 6 feet apart, and I can still direct you with what to do with him to make sure that we're getting as much out of our sessions as possible when it comes to the training. I know. Otherwise, we can definitely do online sessions through Zoom, but I know I'm not super comfortable with Zoom, and yet anyways, I've used it a few times, but it's definitely a little bit more complicated doing it like that. But we can do it whichever way makes you feel the most comfortable and safe. I know, my little boy. You're so good. I like to do the first session within a week of him going home, and I know he's coming to board with me on the 28th. So what I'd like to do is get the first session in for that first week, maybe another session in before you leave, and then he'll come board with me, and then maybe a session when you come home, so that we can make sure we stay fresh on everything. Good boy. You're doing so good. Go ahead and stop it.